I'm recording this the day before I head off to California to attend a 2.5-day in-person event that is part of the mastermind that I'm in. If you've been listening to the podcast, I've talked about how game-changing this mastermind has been for my business. Yes, I have had to wake up at 2 a.m. or 4 a.m. for the calls. Yes, on top of the hefty $45,000 investment, I have had to fly to the US not once, but twice to attend these in-person events, which has been another very big expense. Being in this group of amazing business owners has moved my business forward significantly in just a really short period of time. Hey there, and welcome to the Bringing Business to Retail podcast. If you're looking for retail and e-commerce growth strategies, you are in the right place. Last week, I released a podcast about the investments in coaching, masterminds, and other kinds of programs that I've done over the years as my business has grown. And I talked about how some of them were great, others not so much. With hindsight, I can see that sometimes it was a me problem and sometimes it was just a poor program. But after that episode, I was talking with a retailer who said the biggest takeaway that they had was this. Business coach doesn't give you strategy. They don't give you the how to do something. They just give you the what to do. And I get it. It took me a decade to realize the difference. After all, when you look at, say, a soccer coach, and you know that I'm choosing soccer coach because my whole team sports referencing comes from watching Ted Lasso. The soccer coach's job is to lead the team, to create and implement all of those training plans and strategies and working out where each player is going to move to throughout the game. All those tactics. They look at the performance and they see who needs to go where. In Ted Lasso, Coach Beard, he was the one. He was in there, the day-to-day, building out the strategy. But Ted kind of stood back a bit and he was more like a visionary. He was looking at what the team could achieve. He could see their goals and then he would mentor them in his Ted way to deliver their best. And so I can see how the idea of a coach gets confusing because for most of us, that frame of reference for a coach is going to be in that sporting style environment that we've had as we've lived our life. But in business, what I found is the exact opposite is true. So I thought that you might find this episode helpful if I did a little bit of a breakdown of the different types of guidance, roles, people that you might need in your business journey so that you don't end up like me, discovering that a service or a person that you had hired or the advice that you get given, making sure that it aligns with your expectations and you don't feel like you walk away empty-handed. Because when you don't get delivered what you thought you were going to get, you feel like you've wasted your time. You feel like you've wasted your money. And sometimes you can feel like you've been taken advantage of. I know I certainly did. So let's start with the business coach. It is not hard to find a business coach. I mean, if you put a post up in any remotely business-related Facebook group, you will be swamped with options. But what do business coaches actually do? Well, let me just tell you this. They can have a dramatic impact on both you as a person and on the growth of your business. A coach is your accountability partner. They're the person who keeps you showing up. They help you get really clear on short-term goals, and they remind you over and over again that momentum beats perfection. Just take that next step. Take action. They should be asking you powerful questions, things that make you think, things that challenge your mindset and hold that space for growth. And that is incredibly valuable, especially when you are just getting started or if you're trying to rebuild consistency in your business. But here's the thing that most people miss. Business coaches, typically, I'm sure there's the unicorns out there, but business coaches typically don't give you the how. They give you the what. They're not giving you that this is how you do it. They're not designing your pricing strategy or identifying your profit leaks. They're helping you move forward. They're helping you along a path, but they're not building the map. If you're in the earlier stages of business, maybe you're still doing all of the things, trying to figure out what works. This is where coaching can be game-changing. For me, having someone to help stay focused and stay motivated and bounce ideas off and build those foundational habits, that was the stability. That's probably a really good word. The stability that I needed to stop hopping around from thing to thing to thing. And this is why we include group coaching inside of our Scale Your Store Accelerator, because in those early and messy middle stages, accountability is your lifeline. It helps you take consistent action. It helps you take that next step. It's the thing that builds traction. But as you grow, you might find that coaching alone isn't enough. And so that is where we're going to shift gears a little bit. Next up, let's talk about mentors. My first store was next door to a family photographer, which was absolutely perfect for a shop that sold baby things. I got to know my photographer neighbor. Her name was Jess. I got to know her really, really well. And I remember being so jealous that every Thursday morning she would meet with her dad for coffee. And on those coffee dates, they would talk business because her dad was a seasoned entrepreneur and an acclaimed business owner. He was mentoring her on those coffee dates. Oh, what I would have given to sit in on those sessions back then when I was first starting out. So mentors are a little bit different. They're not hired for their systems or their accountability. They're here for their wisdom. Think of them like the photographer Jess's dad, that seasoned business friend who is steps ahead of you, someone who can say, yeah, I've been through that. Here's what I learned. They might be a former boss or a peer that you admire or someone who just takes you under their wing. And you can pay absolutely for a mentor, but a lot of mentor relationships happen organically. They're built on trust and mutual respect. And what makes a mentor powerful is their perspective. They help you see options that you didn't even know you had. Well, they should challenge your thinking. They help you step into a bigger version of yourself, but they don't hand you a map. What they will do is shine a light on paths that you might have missed. That is the power of a mentor. It is not tactical, but it can be transformational. But, and this is important, mentors aren't always strategic. They may not know the nuances of your product margins or your customer lifetime value. They don't often walk the path with you. They drop in when you need a bit of a compass check. So yes, mentors are magic, but don't expect them to build your business blueprint because that is another level entirely. So now let's talk strategy. And you know that that is my favorite. This is where the game changes because when you bring in a strategist, you're not just getting advice or accountability. You're getting a co-pilot, someone who joins you in the cockpit. They're checking the instruments with you. They're adjusting the flight path and they help you land the business where you want to go. Was that a good flight analogy? Most strategists are what you would find in C-suite positions. Think CEO, Chief Executive Officer, CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, or COO, Chief Operations Officer. These people aren't just managing tasks, they're designing the roadmap. They take the company's vision and then they build the roadmap to get there. They're connecting the dots between product, people, and profit. They're the ones that are making decisions based on data and not on a hunch. C-suite executives are responsible for setting the company's overall strategy and making really high stakes decisions and ensuring that the daily operations align with fulfilling the company's strategic goals. So what a strategist does is they look under the hood of your business. They don't just ask you, how do you feel about your goals? They actually pull the numbers. They'll review your cash flow. They'll analyze your pricing structure, evaluate all those different moving parts of your business. It's not fluff. It is mindset, and it's usually pretty much precision driven. They might evaluate your team. Are the right people in the right roles? Are you paying too much for people? Are you not paying enough for people? They're going to look at your products, what's making you money, what's draining it. They'll dissect your customer journey, find those leaks. Where are people dropping off? Where is the trust missing? Where do your offers fall flat? And they do all of that, and then they build a plan, a full roadmap with timelines, KPIs, team structure, offers, campaign cadences, forecasting, the works. Depending on the strategist that you bring in, the idea is that they're going to build you the map, a clear, customized path to grow your business. This is the kind of work we do in our 5X program. You could almost say we act like a fractional CEO because we come in, we assess the business from top to bottom, we ask really tough questions, we find those blind spots, and then we map out the path based on your goals and your capacity and your data. But strategy is not for everyone. Strategy is for business owners who are already moving. So they're already making sales, but they feel like they are pushing uphill. I think that strategy is for the person who knows that they're capable of more, but they're stuck in the weeds or drowning in decisions. Working with a strategist is for someone who is ready to stop guessing and to start leading. And if you're serious about scaling without the burnout, without dropping the balls, without sacrificing your weekends, this is where transformation starts, with strategy, with structure, with someone in your corner who sees the big picture and the path to get there. Now, I've been talking a lot about this mastermind that I'm in. So where do masterminds fit in? Well, often they blend coaching and mentorship and strategy, all of those things that we've just talked about, depending on how they're structured, but they blend all of those things in. A mastermind shouldn't just be a group chat or a monthly Zoom catch-up. At its best, a mastermind is a curated container for growth. You're not just paying for information, you are literally buying access. You're buying perspective. You're buying acceleration. And masterminds, from my experience, fall into 3 different types of camps. First off, there's the expert-driven mastermind. So these are centered around usually a core leader. So it's often a high-level expert or strategist, and you join because you want proximity to them, to their brain, to their thinking, to their frameworks, to their network. It's like sitting at the big kids table, getting real-time insights from someone who's already walked the path ahead of you. Next, there are peer-driven masterminds. Oh, I can say I've been in good ones and I've been in not so good ones. These are built more around the power of community. You're not just there to listen, you're there to contribute. And the real magic from a peer group mastermind comes from everybody putting in, from sharing wins, from troubleshooting problems, from seeing blind spots, looking at businesses through other people's lenses. Everybody learns together, and hopefully the accountability is next level. Here's what I have found. Peer group masterminds that I have paid for have been out of this world. Peer group masterminds that I have not paid for, and that usually someone just wants a group of people around them to chat about things, they tend to fall apart fast because there is no driver apart from the person who put it together. So the ones that I've joined where I've paid, I have gotten immense value from. The ones that I have joined to be part of a group I don't think any of them have lasted more than about 6 months. So you have those expert-driven masterminds, you have peer group masterminds, and then you have, I guess it's a hybrid mastermind like the one that I'm in. And this is where you get the best of both worlds. You've got access to the expert or the guru and their team. In my case, it's strategists, marketers, editors, specialists. In these kinds of masterminds, you might get coaching or hot seats or tailored strategy sessions, expert calls, and most importantly, support to implement. And that's the key difference. You're not just consuming content and you're not just talking, you are executing with real-time feedback. So I've been a member of all of these types of groups and with all of these types of different outcomes, I guess, and expectations. And they each serve a different purpose. And I won't lie. The type of masterminds that I have found that I get a really good return from require significant investment. I think the cheapest one that I've been in was $10,000. And the one that I'm in now is over $45,000 plus all those travel expenses. But if the program delivers, that kind of investment can collapse years of trial and error into months of strategic growth. Literally, a simple introduction could 10x your business. So if you're at the point where you don't want to be the smartest person in the room and you're ready to think and operate at that next level, it's the kind of container that I find will force you to rise up. How do you know which one of these is right for you? Well, let's quickly recap. Coaches will help you build momentum. The mentors, they will help you expand your perspective, and strategists will help build the map to scale. And masterminds hopefully will provide the container for all 3 with community and collaboration and expertise all baked in. But here's the thing. The wrong kind of support at the wrong time, and wrong's probably not the right word, but investing or putting your time and energy into one of these things, a strategist or a coach or a mastermind, when you're not quite ready for it, can leave you feeling overwhelmed, definitely, underwhelmed, a lot of times on my occasion, or out of pocket. You feel like you've got nothing out of it. So if you are thinking about investing, please ask yourself, am I craving structure and someone to help me stay consistent. Then you might need a coach. Do I want someone who has been where I want to go and can help me shortcut the path? That might be a mentor. Do I have traction, but I feel like I'm stuck in the weeds? Well, that might be the job for a strategist. Or do I want a high-level blend of all the above, plus the community and the collaboration? Well, you might want to look into Masterminds. But before you invest your time and energy and your money, please take a moment and ask yourself this. What would success look like for me 6 or 12 months from now if I worked with this person or if I joined this group? Literally visualize it, write it down. What would need to happen in your business, in your confidence, in yourself for you to say that was worth it? And then ask the person, ask the group leader, ask the salesperson that is trying to sell you this thing. Be direct. This is where I want to go. Can you help me get there? Because when you are clear on what you want to achieve and they're clear on what you want them to deliver, that is when expectations align, which means you are much less likely to feel like you didn't get results because you've articulated what those results look like. There is no one-size-fits-all solution, but I will say this. If you're spinning your wheels, doing all the things, and you're still not seeing growth, then it might be time to upgrade the level of support that you have in your corner. Wherever you're at right now, just know this. You do not have to figure it out alone. And I can say firsthand that the right support at the right time can completely change the game. And of course, if you need help to get there, please reach out and we can see if we can help you. Thank you so much for listening to the Bringing Business to Retail podcast. I'm Selena Knight. If you've loved this episode, I would love it if you could leave a review, share it with other people. And if you see one of those posts inside of a Facebook group for someone who's looking for a business coach, maybe you could tag them on this because maybe a business coach is not what they need. Or maybe they might be looking for a mastermind. Tag them on this episode so they can get really, really clear and make sure that the investment that they put in is going to get them the return that they're looking for. Alrighty, thank you so much. I will see you on the next episode.
So that's a wrap. I'd love to hear what insight you've gotten from this episode and how you're going to put it into action. If you're a social kind of person, follow me at @TheSelenaKnight and make sure to leave a comment and let me know. And if this episode made you think a little bit differently or gave you some inspiration or perhaps gave you the kick that you needed to take action, then please take a couple of minutes to leave me a review on your platform of choice. Because the more reviews the show gets, the more independent retail and e-commerce stores just like yours that we can help to scale. And when that happens, it's a win for you, a win for your community, and a win for your customers. I'll see you on the next episode.